It was the sort of goalpost shifting we have become very used to over the course of this pandemic, after getting vaccinated in our droves, delaying our lives and denying ourselves God-given freedoms, all on a promise that a great British summer and total freedom was coming on June the 21st. Boris Johnson this evening pulled the rug out from under us. Just another 4 weeks, the Prime Minister assured a worn-out nation. Do you believe him? Our entire approach to risk seems to have morphed in a spectacularly weird direction these past 15 months. Even though I'm personally opposed to lockdowns, given the collateral damage they wreak, at least I could see the logic in the middle of winter of wanting to vaccinate those vulnerable of dying from COVID-19. All of the folk who want to be vaccinated, who are vulnerable, have now received those 2 jabs. So they're as protected as they're ever going to be. As gloomy Chris Whitty said himself, the rates of hospitalisations are low throughout the country, even though the case rates are rising. So none of this makes sense to me. Now it's time to see if there is any political opposition left in this country. Of course, the limp Labour Party and its destitute leader, Keir Starmer, immediately indicated he would back the Prime Minister's decision. Which means now the only hope is a genuine Tory rebellion thanks to the COVID recovery group of MPs who are rightly sceptical about the effectiveness of lockdowns. Its leader, Mark Harper, will be with me later in the show. The heroic freedom fighter Steve Baker, who just appeared with Andrew Neil earlier tonight, texted this group of MPs last night, quoting Ramsay in The Great Escape, saying, "It is the sworn duty of all officers to try to escape. If they cannot escape, then it is their sworn duty to cause the enemy to use an inordinate number of troops to guard them, and their sworn duty to harass the enemy to the best of their ability." That is the spirit. I hope other MPs who know continued lockdowns are wrong speak up this time. That is their sworn duty. Enough is enough. Too much economic and social damage is being caused. If this is how we behave in the middle of summer, then what the hell is the situation going to look like in December as we head into another flu season? 79% of UK adults have now had their first jab, with 57% having had their second too. Numbers beyond our wildest dreams just a few months ago. Lockdowns and legally enforced restrictions are not the answer anymore. The answer is learning to live with COVID-19. And by the way, it's not just me saying this. A cabinet minister anonymously told the Times newspaper today, "It's a very odd decision. Why are we maintaining more restrictions this year when we have the vaccine than we did last year without? If new variants emerge, we are coming to the point where we just have to live with them." Well, that cabinet minister should also do their duty. Speak up against this madness and resign. Forget about your career for one moment and make a decision to be on the right side of history. I'm done. Why does the mainstream broadcast media only cover protests and demonstrations with causes with which they agree? This is now the only summation I can make after the lack of coverage of anti-lockdown marches, which have seen tens, possibly hundreds of thousands of people swarm central London over recent months. It was the same thing today, with a large peaceful protest outside of Downing Street given short shrift in the media. We're going to talk about it tonight, though. To me, this shows the complete London metropolitan bias of the media, given they gave hours and hours of airtime to Black Lives Matter and Extinction Rebellion protests. Surely it can't be one rule for in vogue social causes and another for anti-lockdown supporters. Now, the Union Jack is under threat. The Guido Fawkes website reported today that the North Tyneside Council has ordered a Conservative Party councillor to take down their Union Jack flags in the Conservative group room because they are, in their words, and I could not believe it when I saw this, overtly political within a publicly funded building. What the hell is that about? So this guy, Bryn Roberts, he's the head of law and governance at the council, said, "This is not an appropriate use of the room." If it's true, what absolute nonsense. There is nothing political about the Union Jack. It's our flag, and we should all be proud of it. We're certainly proud of it here. There used to be a time when all political parties used to rally around it too. What's changed? I think Jeremy Clarkson is right, that things are going in a way where very shortly everyone will be sacked because we live in a woke minefield and are bound to tread on something that goes bang. So the former Top Gear host says it is really scary for folk in modern society, and these are his words, who still eat meat and use petrol and continue to share inappropriate jokes on private WhatsApp groups. He was pointing to the cancel culture cases of the cricketer Ollie Robinson and the actor Armie Hammer. And Jeremy Clarkson added, "You're on borrowed time and soon you'll get a tap on the shoulder from the HR Stasi. I speak often to my friends about this and all of them are frightened to death. They know that if they continue to eat and to do and to say whatever they've eaten and done and said for the past 40 years, they're going to be out of a job. And even if they don't, they'll still be out on their air for having eaten and said and done it back in 1974. The sad thing is, there's significant truth in the humour of Jeremy Clarkson.